brought us together. The destiny is in our hands.
I've got some questions here about a couple of songs I thought were interesting. It's funny, the more you pay attention to the lyrics, the more questions come out in your head. And I just find that really interesting because I can interpret symbolism very differently than you can, who actually wrote them. And so it gets very, it really gets very interesting. I'm sure they have classes on this kind of stuff to try to get inside the person's head who actually wrote the poem, wrote the song, wrote the book, whatever. So I'm finding it very interesting as I go through.
Well, yeah, and and we'll start off. We'll go through them in order, and that way they're posted in order. Fate and Destiny will be the first one that we can review here, and I think when I wrote this back in 2003, I never really intended for an audience to really be listening to it. I was trying to create my own messaging. And so I wrote it with really multiple meanings and tried to put some, I attempted to put some psychology behind it, or perhaps analogies and metaphors, symbolism, all that kind of thing, because I was trying to send out or write a message. And in my prior songs, I've written, I think, about 40 of them, starting back in the late 80s when I was like 16 years old. And I found that the lyrics made the song too long, and because I was trying to say so much and I didn't know how to express it without a lot of verbiage. And then I started using symbolism and whatnot to be able to have multiple meanings packeted into less words. So that's what I was trying to achieve with all of these. And so yeah, so the writing developed over time, that's for sure. And so it can be read several different ways, I think. And what I like about that is that any individual can make the song about themselves, and come up with their own meaning behind it. And hopefully it can fit in multiple ways beyond even what I wrote.
I can look at Fate and Destiny, and you can, as you read through it, you can pull from your own past or present instances and situations, and it kind of makes us feel that we're not all alone, that other people.
It's interesting that you say that, Mark, because that was really the intent. If you read the lyrics and what the first meaning and the first message was inspired by an individual that I met, and she really seemed hesitant to let anybody in, and had kind of like this brick wall in front of her, and it was I think based on her own sensitivity and vulnerability, and that she felt unsafe with letting anybody in. And so that inspired this song to write about the fact that it is safe. The other thing is, like, when it says fate and destiny, it refers to multiple things, but the first one is that, we met by chance, and where we go from here is a choice. So things don't happen to us per se, as much as how we respond to things and how we engage with things. Like, sometimes you do meet by chance, and it's up to us, as how do we react to that? How do we move forward? Do we dive in with both feet, or what do we do here? What happens next is in our control, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So we don't have to worry so much, is that we do have that control. There is another hidden meaning as well too, and this pops up a lot in the different various songs about a reference of love, because at that point in time, Especially I was trying to understand and appreciate, what love really is. What should you expect from love? And, how do you define love? Like if you look up love in the dictionary, I think it gives a very simple meaning to the word, but I think that there's a lot more to what love is as far as a connection amongst individuals and, what it can mean to us as individuals. And I think at the end of the day, it's as important as the air that we breathe. It's something that actually can sustain us, and just how important it is and how much change it can make for us as individuals, for other individuals we interact with, and the world as a whole. I think that is really the foundation of positive change. And
so if I can ask then, you actually helped me lead into my first question. And in your first line of the song Fate and Destiny, you say, fate brought us together. Can you describe what you believe, what role is fate playing here?
Yeah, fate brought us together, and that's as far as it goes. And something else takes over after that. Fate is no longer empowered at that point in time.
And another question I've got here for you, in that same verse, you sing, you search for a heart like home, but then you go on to sing, but force yourself to be alone. It sounds like like you're trying to describe someone in conflict with something. Can you elaborate on what's happening there between those?
Yeah. No, it's exactly that. I mean, this is what you want. This is what you desire. And it's so common, of what things people will do is they want one thing, and yet their actions dictate another, or force themselves into another direction. And when good things come about, they actually almost reject it and push it away. Things as simple as love and being meaningful to the world and having value is actually very, very difficult for some individuals to come up with. And that's something I was struggling with myself at the time. And not to give away the third meaning, but a lot of this has to do with myself and trying to convince myself of what I need to do as an individual to be able to get the things that I want. That nothing is going to land on my plate and make it easy. I have to work for it. And I need to be a little bit of an opportunist. When something does come around, I need to make the most of it and make good things out of it. So, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade kind of thing, in so many words. But, but forcing yourself to be alone is putting up that barrier and making yourself unavailable, even though the good thing that you want is right in front of you. And sometimes we can't see it. So in the matter of 4 lines, a lot has been said.
Yes. Hence your comment earlier about you had so much to say when you were writing your songs, and this one in particular, that now you can pull a lot out because of the symbolism you use. I only have one more question for you, and it's regarding the chorus. And it sounds like you've built up, you've explained things, but now you're offering, if I could say, a solution here. If you do this, where you sing, it's cold outside and it's scary, but then you go on to provide, but if you just try this, you're providing that alternative. You're extending that olive branch to the individual. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So what it's basically saying is to be fearless, right? It is cold outside. And by cold outside, it's referencing the world as a whole. And, there's a lot there that's scary. But when you focus inward and you focus on what matters and what's important, in there's nothing to fear. And being confident with yourself, there's nothing to fear of yourself. And really in the world as a whole, it's not something to fear. It might be cold at times, but it's not something you should fear. You should be able to get out there and do things and participate and allow people in and not be afraid of that. And if you can imagine, some people at times are afraid to let a person in because they're afraid of being hurt. And we have to, and sometimes that does happen, right? But that also can bring us peace of mind. And by facing our fears is a very, very powerful thing. And it's not something you just jump at. You have to work towards it. So it's recognizing the challenge and the why. Why do I feel this way? And what do I do about it? Is I face my fears and I become comfortable with them. And I think that's one of the lessons I learned in life, is not to overcome my fears, but to face them head on and to be able to become comfortable with them and actually use them as a strength as opposed to a weakness. And when I came to that realization that I could use my fear as strength, everything changed. I love that line, actually. Time will come and time will go. In the end, I'm sure you'll know. And there's some Easter eggs in there, I think, as far as to the meaning and whatnot. But I think the most important thing is, what does it mean to the listener? To me, when I was writing it, it meant so many different things, and was trying to remind myself of many things. But in the end, I will figure it out. And even though I don't have all the answers right now, it's a journey. I need to convince myself that I don't need the answer right this minute. I just need to work towards it. And there's a lot there.
I really enjoyed that intro.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to us getting it recorded and put together. And we've got a great band put together to develop. And these songs do need some rework and to be able to fit in other instruments and whatnot. But I'm very excited to be able to hear this one recorded and album 1 becoming available.
They brought us together. The destiny is in our hands. Search for a heart like home. Force yourself to be alone. Is it so hard to believe? Good things are meant to be. Time will come and time will go. In the end, I'm sure you'll know. It's cold outside and it's scary.